Hello, and welcome back to Link Up and Learn with LiveBig. I'm Sarah. Today's conversation is for parents and carers who might be listening and quietly carrying a lot. Parenting neurodivergent children can bring deep love and pride, but it can also bring self-doubt and the feeling that you're constantly getting it wrong. So often we hear parents say, "I feel like I'm failing my child," or "everyone else seems to cope better than I do." I'm joined today by Fiso, an occupational therapist here at LiveBig. We'll be discussing parental guilt. What is it and why is it so common? How neurodivergency can shape family life and how occupational therapy can support not just children, but the parents and carers walking alongside them. Fiso, it's really lovely to have you here.
Thank you, Sarah. It's really lovely to be here. This is such an important conversation, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to speak about the experiences of parents and carers who are often doing so much whilst caring so much quietly. So thank you.
Fiso, from your perspective, when parents of neurodivergent children come to you, what are they usually feeling or worrying about?
When parents first come to me, they're often feeling a combination of guilt, self-blame, doubt, and significant emotional exhaustion. Many describe feeling as though they are not doing enough or that they are somehow getting it wrong despite trying very hard every day. There's often a strong tendency to compare themselves to other families. I mean, particularly those whose children appear to cope more easily in public or school settings. Parents also commonly fear being judged by schools, extended family members, or even professionals like us, and may feel personally responsible for their child's challenges. So by the time they reach for support, many parents are already carrying a very heavy emotional load upon themselves.
It sounds like parents are really carrying a lot before they even get the support that they need. Why do you think guilt is such a common experience for parents raising neurodivergent kids?
Whew, that's a good question, Sarah. I think guilt is so common because many parenting expectations are still based on the neurotypical development and behavior. Parents are surrounded by messages both in society and on social media, which is such a big thing now, about how children should behave, regulate, and progress. There's a lot of pressure also placed on parents to fix behaviors rather than understanding what those behaviors are communicating. When neurodivergence is not well understood, parents can internalize their child's difficulties as a personal failure rather than recognizing that the environment and the systems are often not designed to support their child properly.
So the guilt often comes from the system and expectations, not
Yeah.
from doing anything wrong. And yeah,
Yeah.
good point about social media as well. Some parents are early in their journey and still questioning where their child might be neurodivergent. What are some everyday signs parents often notice but second guess?
Parents often notice things like strong sensory sensitivity, such as discomfort with noise, clothing textures, or certain foods. With clothing textures, I mean, some children can be quite sensitive with the tag at the back of your shirt that we usually don't even notice at all. Some may see very big emotional reactions to changes that others might consider small, or ongoing difficulties with transitioning and routines, such as maybe a child might struggle with following a simple morning routine, which is a three-step routine, whereas other children might struggle with a big evening routine. So I usually say that each child copes quite differently. Another common pattern is that children who appear to cope or mask at school, but then release everything at home through meltdowns or emotional exhaustion. Many parents are then told things like, oh, they'll grow out of it, which then can lead them to second guess their instincts. However, noticing these signs isn't about labeling a child, it's about understanding how they experience the world so that we can support them better.
Yeah, that understanding is so important, that clarity. You may hear parents say things along the lines of, "I just want my child to cope like everyone else." How do you help families shift away from the idea of normal?
I spend a lot of time helping families reframe what success actually looks like for their child. So instead of measuring progress against other child and against other people, we focus on the individual's child well-being, regulation, and participation. We place more value on emotional safety and regulation than compliance. We look at a child's strengths, interests, and natural ways of engaging with the world, often reducing pressure than introducing more strategies creates the biggest change. Letting go of comparison can be difficult, but it's also incredibly freeing for families. So, what I mean here is the moment w- equip the family with more strategies, they tend to compare less themselves with other families, which then can be a win in therapy.
So, speaking of therapy, let's talk about occupational therapy. Some parents may not know what OT looks like and how it can help. How does OT support neurodivergent children specifically and their parents?
I love talking about OT. So, occupational therapy focuses on everyday life, how children participate in daily activities, relationships, routines, and environments. For neurodivergent children, this often includes support with sensory processing, emotional regulation, transitions, and developing independence in ways that feel safe and achievable. For parents, OT provides a deep understanding of their child's needs and why certain behaviors occur. We offer practical strategies that are realistic and fit within family life rather than adding extra pressure. So, for parents, I often say OT, firstly, we need to educate the parents what is OT so that they understand why we are doing things that way. OT is not about changing the child, it's about supporting the child and adapting the environment around them and also supporting the parents in the process.
So, OT at LiveBig. LiveBig takes a holistic approach. How do you work with your parents and carers as part of OT support?
I would say our approach is very collaborative. We work alongside parents and carers as well, rather than telling them what to do. Parents are the experts on their child, and that expertise is always valued. We set goals together based on what matters most to the family. Alongside practical strategies, we also provide emotional validation because parenting a neurodivergent child can be deeply challenging. This is one of our key parts of our role is that we reduce the guilt and pressure and not add to it.
That sense of partnership is really important. If a parent is constantly telling themselves, I should be coping better, what's one reframe you often encourage?
Sarah, that's a good one. I would say one reframe I often encourage is my child isn't giving me a hard time. They are having a hard time. That shift alone can change how parents respond to themselves and their child. I like also to remind parents that progress doesn't have to be fast to be meaningful. It's an ongoing thing. So regulation starts with adult support and safety and not control. So practicing self-compassion actually improves the outcome for everyone. Doing your best within a very challenging system is enough. That really shifts the story families tell themselves.
Absolutely. Many parents hesitate to reach out for support. What will you say to someone who's wondering if now is the right time?
You know what? That's a very good question because one of the major things that I've come across is parents saying, "Oh, I didn't know I could reach out." So I would say that you don't need to be in crisis to deserve support. Reaching out does not mean you have failed as a parent. Early support can significantly reduce stress over time and help families feel more confident and resourced. Asking for help also models self care and self advocacy for your children. You don't have to do this alone, and this is you advocating for your child if you're seeking support earlier.
That feels like such an important message to end on. Fiso, thank you so much for sharing your insights and compassion today.
Thank you, Sarah. It's been a real privilege to be part of this conversation, and I do hope it helps parents feel seen, supported, and a little less alone in this journey. And I hope they also understand the role we play as OTs, that we're not there to change their child, we're there to support them, we're there as a guide. But at the end of the day, it's still a collaborative approach.
Absolutely. If this conversation connected with you, we hope it's helped ease some of the weight you might be carrying. Parenting a neurodivergent child is not about getting everything right. It's about showing up, learning together, and giving yourself permission to be human. If you'd like to know more about occupational therapy and how LiveBig supports neurodivergent children and their families, visit livebig.com.au or reach out to our team. We're here to help. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. We acknowledge the traditional owners of this nation, whose country we work and live in. We recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders as traditional custodians and their ongoing connections to land and sea. We pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging as law keepers of the world's oldest living culture. We celebrate the stories, culture and traditions of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders so we can, in the true spirit of reconciliation, continue the journey together.